July 19th, 2024, 3:47 p.m. GMT. Lights went out everywhere in the world at the same moment. While skyscrapers in New York were shrouded in darkness one by one, neon signs in Tokyo flashed one last time before falling into silence. Metro stopped in the middle of tracks in London. Traffic lights went out in Sao Paulo. Hospitals in Mumbai switched to emergency power sources. This wasn't just a power outage. This was the most comprehensive cyber attack in human history. In the secret meeting room of the World Economic Forum in Switzerland, the world's 12 most powerful people were looking at each other in panic. Marcus Wellington, CEO of the Blackstone Group, was trying to turn on his phone with trembling hands, but the device was completely dead. "This is impossible," murmured Victoria Ashford, president of the Global Banking Consortium. "Our systems are independent of each other. A coordinated global attack would require billions of dollars worth of infrastructure." But the message appearing on the giant screen in the hall was throwing the truth in their faces. "My powerful friends, today I just wanted to remind you that you don't own the world. The world belongs to humanity. This is just the beginning. Every July 19th at the same time, I'll be waiting for you." A week after the attack, the world's most advanced cybersecurity agencies had sprung into action. CIA, FSB, Mossad, BND, all were searching for the same target, the ghost codenamed S. At the NSA's Cyber Command Center, Chief Analyst Sarah Chun was spending her 72nd hour at the screen. The only clue she had was the digital signature left behind after the attack. So sophisticated it was like a work of art. "This person is at least 10 years ahead of us," Chen told her director James Morrison. "The encryption algorithms he uses aren't even at the theoretical stage yet. It's like he came from the future." Morrison frowned. "Theory aside, this guy brought down all power systems in Europe simultaneously. For this level of knowledge accumulation, we should be searching computer science departments of the world's best universities, Harvard, MIT, Oxford." But the person they were looking for wasn't in any university records. In the foothills of the Carpathians, in a forgotten village in Ukraine, Sergio Petrov lived in an old ramshackle house. This 33-year-old, athletically built young man, with sharp green eyes, was the architect of the attack that shook the world. Sergio's story had begun when he was 9 years old. Growing up in the shadow of the Chernobyl disaster, he had lost his family due to radiation. When state aid didn't come, when he couldn't pay electricity bills, young Sergio, left alone, had started surviving by repairing an old computer his neighbor had thrown in the trash. He had made his first hack at 12 to infiltrate the local electricity company's system to turn on his own house's electricity. But his talent hadn't stopped there. At 16, he had infiltrated the US Department of Defense Systems but hadn't stolen anything. He had only published the list of innocent civilians dying in Iraq. At the time on the Pentagon's homepage, this was his first message. Now, 17 years later, the time had come to give the world his real message. July 19th, 2025, 3:47 p.m. GMT. This time the target wasn't the electrical system. Sergio had acted more cleverly. Banks all over the world began crashing simultaneously. JP Morgan Chase, Deutsche Bank, HSBC, Bank of America, servers where billions of dollars of transactions took place were shutting down one by one. But Sergio hadn't just shut down the systems. He had done something else. He had temporarily transferred the money in the accounts of the world's richest 1% to charities, hospitals, and education funds worldwide. The money wasn't stolen, just redistributed. Everything would return to its former state after 24 hours. But the message was clear and obvious. Victoria Ashford was on the verge of going crazy in her private office in Zurich. The $2.3 billion in her account had temporarily gone to UNICEF. Who is this man? She was shouting over the phone to David Harper, CEO of a private security company. How is it that he can still breach all our security systems? Harper's voice sounded tense. Madam Ashford, this person acts as if he knows our systems better than we do. He seems to predict every defense mechanism we have in advance. This time, Marcus Wellington had taken action. Blackstone Group's endless resources were used to hire the world's most deadly mercenary group, the Digital Hounds. Leader Eric Volkov was a former Spetsnaz commander, now specialized in the dirty work of cyber warfare. This guy cleans his tracks so well it's like he never lived. Volkov said in Wellington's Manhattan penthouse. But everyone makes a mistake. I'll find that mistake. However, Sergio was also preparing. He was listening to Wellington's private conversations, reading his emails, even accessing Digital Hound's plans to search for him. For Sergio, this was a game, but a deadly game. December 2025, Sergio had hacked the route of Wellington's private jet. The jet was unexpectedly redirected to Ukrainian airspace and forced to make an emergency landing near Kiev. While Wellington and his guards were stranded at the small airport, Sergio reached them directly for the first time. He called Wellington's private phone. Mr. Wellington, Sergio's accented English came through the phone. I hope your journey wasn't too uncomfortable. Wellington's blood froze. Are you him? I'm just someone who wants to remind you. You think you own the world, but all you do is steal humanity's resources. While children starve, you accumulate billions of dollars. While hospitals close, you buy private islands. What do you want? Wellington's voice was trembling. Justice, equality, and if you don't provide these, every July 19th, I'll give you a bigger lesson. This time it was just money and electricity. Next time, the line went dead. Early 2026, Digital Hounds had finally found a clue. They had been able to track the source of the attacks all the way to Eastern Europe. Volkov and his team began scanning the rural areas of Ukraine. But Sergio was watching their every move. Wellington's private security cameras, Digital Hound's communication networks, even the GPS information on Volkov's personal phone. He had access to everything. One night, Volkov and four men raided a farmhouse just 50 kilometers from Sergio's village. But there was only an elderly farmer couple there. That night, a message appeared on Volkov's laptop. Warm, but not warm enough. The game is just beginning. March 2026. Sergio was no longer content with just annual attacks. Whenever Wellington and the group made a decision that would harm humanity, Sergio immediately counterattacked, trying to get them to change their decisions by making attacks that the system owners could directly feel and understand. When Wellington's company started using child labor in Sudan, Sergio had leaked all the company's internal documents to the media. When Victoria Ashford's bank planned to increase poor countries' debts, Sergio had hacked all the bank executives' email accounts and exposed the scandal emails. Every time the same signature, humanity is not forgotten. The elite group had now become paranoid. They had to think twice when making their decisions. While Sarah Chun continued her research at the NSA, she noticed something strange. His attacks not only shook the world, but also showed real security vulnerabilities in the systems. It was as if he was teaching them lessons. Chun secretly decided to contact Sergio. 48 hours later, she received a reply to the encrypted message she left on the deep web. Agent Chun, I knew you could see the truth too. But be careful. Wellington has ears everywhere. Chun's heart began beating rapidly. This man even knew about security vulnerabilities within the NSA. As July 19, 2026 approached, Wellington was preparing to play his last card. If he couldn't find Sergio, he would target the things he valued. Digital Hounds had found the orphanage where Sergio had stayed as a child. Anna Petrovna, the elderly caretaker who still lived there, was Sergio's only family connection. Volkov had kidnapped Anna. That night, the same message appeared on all of Sergio's screens. The game is over now, as we have the old woman. If you attack on July 19th, we'll kill her. Turn yourself in. Wellington. Sergio had never been this angry in his life. Anna was the only person who had taught him loyalty and love. Wellington had now crossed the line. But Sergio wouldn't act hastily. He had a plan. July 19th, 2026. 3 p.m. Wellington and the group were waiting in their secret bunker in Switzerland, using Anna as a guard to await Sergio's surrender. At 3:47 p.m., no attack occurred. Wellington smiled. We finally broke him. But at 3:48 p.m., all the screens in the room turned on. Sergio's face appeared for the first time with his real identity. Mr. Wellington, Sergio said in a calm voice. Thank you for Anna's safety. But you made a mistake. What mistake? You thought you kidnapped Anna. But actually, Anna has been working as a cleaning staff in your bunker for the last 6 months. You didn't kidnap her. She's been with you. Wellington's face went pale. Anna Petrovna was standing by the cleaning cart in the corner, smiling. Hello, my child, Anna said in Russian. Your plan was perfect. Anna's cleaning cart was actually an advanced electronic espionage device. For 6 months, it had mapped all the bunker systems and learned all the passwords. Sergio's real attack began at that moment. All of Wellington and the group's secret accounts, all their dirty business, all their illegal deals were simultaneously leaked to the world press. Tax evasion, arms trafficking, human trafficking, everything was exposed. But this wasn't the end either. People now know the truth, Sergio said. But I'm offering you one last option. Either you really start serving humanity, or next July 19th, you'll face the biggest financial collapse the world has ever seen. Wellington and the group were cornered. Scandals had erupted in the media, stocks had crashed, governments had launched investigations. Victoria Ashford was facing a real choice for the first time. Either she would use banking for humanity's benefit as Sergio wanted, or she would lose everything. This kid checkmated us, Wellington admitted. But how? How can a child be this powerful? Sarah Chun was writing the truth in her report at the NSA. Sergio Petrov is not just a hacker. He understands how the system works so well that he can use the system against itself. Power comes from knowledge, and he knows more than all of us. July 19th, 2027. A year had passed. This time there was no attack. Instead, the same message appeared on billboards, televisions, and social media everywhere in the world. Humanity, you are the real owners of power. No one owns you. No one can determine your destiny. Remember, you are not alone. Sergio. Wellington and the group had really changed during that year. Partly due to Sergio's threat and partly due to public pressure. Their companies were now truly investing in social responsibility projects. But Sergio didn't find this sufficient. He knew he needed to do more to change the world. Sergio was no longer working alone. Around the world, hundreds of young hackers inspired by his message wanted to learn his methods. Sarah Chun had resigned from the NSA to join Sergio's secret network. Anna Petrovna had become the leader of an agent network, collecting information by infiltrating security systems in various parts of the world. My goal is not to hack the world, Sergio told his new team in a secret video conference. My goal is to awaken people, to show them what their real power is. July 19th, 2028. Wellington had completely changed. Blackstone Group had become the world's largest environmental protection and education fund. Victoria Ashford's bank was providing interest-free loans to poor countries. But for Sergio, the work wasn't finished yet. His real goal was to prevent a new power. sent her from forming to replace the elite group. In his last message, he had written, "Power should never be concentrated in one person or group. Power should be with the people. And I too will give up my power one day. Because I am also human, and I can make mistakes too." Real change comes when everyone takes their own responsibility. In 2029, Sergio Petrov disappeared. No one knew where he was, but his message remained. The world was no longer the same. People had realized their own power. Technology had become a tool that everyone could use, not just in the hands of a few. Sarah Chun was now a leading figure among digital rights advocates. Anna Petrovna had returned to living in the orphanage in Ukraine, but was now part of a worldwide network. Wellington, on the other hand, never forgot the most valuable lesson his former enemy Sergio had taught him. Real power lies not in controlling others, but in empowering them. Sergio's last message hung on the walls of hacker groups everywhere in the world. "I was just the beginning. Real change is in your hands. The world belongs to all of us, and it always will." In the old village at the foothills of the Carpathians, a computer screen flickered one last time. Sergio Petrov might have gone, but the change he had planted was growing every day. The world would never be the same again. And this was exactly what Sergio wanted.